Hey guys, welcome to the show. This is Upfront with Kaz on a beautiful Monday afternoon. Today we've got Hlomla Dandala. This is Real to Real, talking everything about movies, acting, and the entertainment industry. We're going to talk about characters, character development, how to choose the right part, everything to do with movies. So stay by if you've got any questions for Hlomla and myself. We're just waiting for Hlomla to come on the line and we will go live.
This is going to be me all day today.
How you, bro?
I'm good, man. How you doing? I'm
Right.
hiding.
He's talking to your hand.
Yeah. I'm trying to show people my fortune.
Ah.
How you doing, brother?
I'm all right, bro. How was your weekend?
The usual. Cooking for kids, chasing after kids, telling kids stop it, and then
Yeah.
having them raid my bed and my bedroom, and just, yeah. But
So the
good things.
so what did you cook? What's a favorite meal for you to cook?
Oh, gosh. I don't know that I have a
You're
favorite.
good.
The best one I made this weekend, though, I tried something with it's stripped chicken. You know, you do your normal onions, peppers, and all that sort of stuff. Then you add some cream, mix it, a little bit of some spicy curry in there, just so that it's got a little bit of a bite, and you squeeze a little bit of pineapple juice in it. Comes out perfect.
Sure. So
Try it.
what did you call it? What did you call that meal?
Oh God, I don't know. If I were to come up with names for all the meals that I cook, we'd be here forever.
Yeah. So last week we talked about ownership and also we talked
Yes.
about the first part. We talked about characters and how when acting, whether you watch your own performances back or not.
Yeah.
Today, I wanted to talk about what type of characters are easier to play for you. Like, is it easier to play a good guy or a bad guy? And how do you get into the space to perform the
There are
character?
no good guys or bad guys.
Yeah.
Um, that's a matter of opinion. It's always a subjective thing.
Yeah.
Um, was Hitler a good guy or a bad guy? Well, it depends. Are you Jewish or German? You know what I mean? It depends on the story you're telling. A minute ago, we had stories about cowboys and Indians, and the Indians were the bad guys. Turns out they were actually the good guys historically, and they were the ones being invaded. And so now you have things like what's the most recent I can think of, but where suddenly the Native Americans are the ones who are the good guys. So there are no good guys or bad guys,
So
even
as
in
an
story.
actor, so as an actor, you got to approach each character as its own, with no judgments. Just
No judgment.
work with the character.
Absolutely, no judgment. Um, when you're engaging a character, you are, remember, it's not you, so you can't bring your politic into it.
Yeah.
You've got to play the truth of that character, and everything is done for a reason. It's one of my favorite sayings. I think I mentioned it the last time we were chatting, where I was saying all murder is subjectively justifiable.
Yeah.
Comes out
Just
of perceived necessity. That's the word.
yeah.
All murder comes out of perceived necessity. All.
Yes.
And so then that's the case with bad guys, good guys, whatever. You've got to find what is that perceived necessity for that character, and if you can do that, you're in. Good guy or bad guy.
Yeah. So let me flip it to you like this.
Mm.
Which type of character is it more fun to play? Good guy or bad guy? Well, I mean, suppose it good guy or
I
bad guy.
understand what you're saying. I do understand. Um, I don't know. Hey, again, it sounds like a daft thing to say. My moral side enjoys the good guy.
Yeah.
My moral side, because you know, one has a political background, and not that one has been in politics, but just I have a worldview.
Yes.
And so it's nicer to play characters that have a similar worldview to me because I get to learn from them and they increase my knowledge and my worldview as an individual. Um, and so those are great fun to play, if only for learning. Um, but bad guys, yeah, there's no character that doesn't teach you something.
Yeah.
And I like things that stretch me in that sense.
And learning script, how do you prepare for a script? Do you read, put it down, come back to it? How do you get those? How do you get the script in your head?
Oh, goodness. Well, one, you need to always understand intent, overall intent, and in the minute intent. You've got to understand what is he actually saying in that sentence. And it gets easier with time, but it's quite a laborious process, which is important. So one of the things I have is the rule of 8. The rule of 8 is you need to be able to do it 8 times over without making a mistake. Every time you make a mistake, you're back to 1. And you have to do it at least 8 times without making a mistake, then you're close to being ready. That's just for line learning, just learning lines. But in terms of preparing, especially when it's something new, jeepers, you've got to give yourself time. Yeah. Time. The more time you sit with a script, the more time you sit with dialogue, the better it is. And the more natural it flows. There's nothing more frustrating than watching an actor not thinking about what he's saying, but thinking about what their next line is. And in South Africa, we suffer from this a lot, where you can see, oh, but guy, you're not engaged at all in what you're saying. You don't understand why you're saying it. You don't understand how you're meant to be saying it. So, and you can see it, their eyes go. They just, and camera, so TV work, film work will show you the instant you're not there. The second you're not there, you can read it in the eyes. And so, yeah, you just need to sit with a script, especially a new script. Give yourself days, weeks if you can, where you read it and know it as well as you can at that moment, and then forget it, and then come back to it a couple of days later, learn it and learn it hard again, and then forget it again. It always helps having someone with you, because then, because also just to speak your sense, where you go, oh crap, so what I'm actually saying is this, and then they can bounce back, because what we do is a collaborative process. And so generally the best characters are characters that you've discussed with somebody before you even take it and offer it to a director. Yes. So by the time you get to a director, you're talking about something you've spent time with, and it's developed, and you can justify every single breath, every single beat, every single line, every single thing is justified because you've spent time with it. Do you know what I mean?
Now, what happens when you're on a set of like a soapy where you've got to do scripts every day? You get given your sides the night before, for example, and you've got to get them ready by.
Now that's a different process. That's a different learning process.
There's movies and then there's soapies. So how do you do
so when you're doing soapies, again, you want to, rule is relatively similar, but the pressure is turned on quite a bit. So generally with soapies, because they tend to be quite literal, so they're not as layered as, say, doing a Shakespeare or anything like that. Yeah. Generally, what you want to get to very, very quickly is, what am I saying in this scene? As an actor, what is my want? What do I want in the scene? At the end of the scene, do I get it? Do I not get it? How do I feel about that? And where in the scene do I actually express that this is what I want? Either to myself, to the audience, to the other characters around me. Where's the moment? Where's the aha moment? So if you can get that, you're winning. And then the next stage is, where are the turning points? Hi, what are you doing? am I asking what are you doing, or am I asking what are you doing with what you are holding in your hand right now?
Yes, yes.
Do you understand?
Different
And so,
tone.
and again, because it's a repeat type of industry, soapies and dailies, because it's repeat, you'll find that it gets much, much easier. By the time you get to week 3, you understand exactly what the character is saying. In fact, some of the time, you'll get a heading of this scene is about this, and you'll start to speak the words, and then look at the script and go, oh my goodness, that's exactly what I was saying as the character. And so you find that the writing and the character and your understanding of the character start to do that. When that happens, you're winning, because then it means the writer is writing the words that they imagine you to be saying, as you are speaking the words you imagine the writer is wanting you to communicate as only you can.
Because
And
that's
so
what
you
I
want
wanted.
that.
I wanted to ask you, where lies the flexibility between the writer, the director, and the actor? Let's say, because I was watching this one scene with one of the last movies, Marlon Brando. Actually, the last movie he played Robert De Niro, and
Mm-hmm.
there's like 8 takes of the same scene, and these are played different each time, but same
Mm-hmm.
energy. So the director obviously and the writer trusted that these two method actors would get the energy right, and it wasn't so much about the words, because each time you would put different words
Oh
in
yeah,
there,
yeah. So
you know?
this is the mistake most people make about scripts.
Yeah.
They assume that everything the character has to communicate is the stuff that's written,
Yeah.
whereas there is a hell of a lot of information between the lines. So if the line is, give me anything, there's
Hey,
a bunch of things.
yeah, hey, I just
What?
joined you on the topic. Do that line.
Hey, I just joined your WhatsApp topic. Okay. Now I could say, hey, I just joined your WhatsApp topic. Or I could say, hey, I just joined your WhatsApp topic.
It's
I've
almost
just
fun to
said
be
two,
very, yes.
I've said two very, very different things. And the one I'm like, hey, I'm letting you know, hey, I just joined your WhatsApp topic. The other one I'm going, hey, yeah, I saw what you did. I saw
Yeah.
what was on that thing. I just joined it. You're in trouble now.
So while you're talking about that, explain to uh, Pomo, explain what you're talking about.
Oh.
Answer the question.
We were
Oh,
talking about how line interpretation can change the meaning. So, okay, and how meaning is not just carried in the spoken word, but in everything you do in between that. Do you understand? And it's also about learning. So that's just the one side where you're talking about um,
yes.
about actually engaging the line. But there's also things about how I respond to you, when I respond to you. I like to do this, especially when I'm directing. It's one of my things to get people out of that staccato um, kind of line playing where it's, hi, how are you? I am fine. How are you? You know,
Yes. Yes.
you get people out of that. You'll One of the best secrets is language is so pervasive. We use language so much that I don't have to finish my set. You already know what it is I'm gonna before I even. And so what people start to do is they respond as soon as they understand what it is you were. Then they don't.
Yeah.
Can you see? I didn't finish all of my sentences,
Got you though.
but but you understood exactly what it is I was saying. And so when people speak, it almost feels like, so it's not speak, finish, speak, finish. It's speak. Oh, I know exactly what you. Oh, I know it. And so what you get is a layered, so that when we stop, it means something.
So what I'm doing now is I'm just scrolling. I'm scrolling
Yeah.
through the questions because Tandy wanted to ask a question. And guys, if you have any questions, please ask. I just want to get to the question here. Tandy asked if you need a theatrical background
to be on television or film. The general consensus is no.
He says, is it best for a person to have theatrical background before venturing into TV? Yeah.
The most people will say no. I say look at the numbers. The best award-winning actors globally, not just in South Africa, globally, have their background in theater.
Yeah.
I can't think of an actor or actress who has won a big award without. I mean, I'm sure they're there. I just can't think of one right now. But generally, the strongest actors are actors who have a theater background. Yes. And there's a reason for that.
Yes, yes. So now let's talk about that, because live on stage is different feedback.
Oh yeah.
To camera, because now you got the audience playing up with your energy, whereas when you're on camera, it's just cut, take. You know what I'm saying? So what's the difference between the two? How does
there are a few
different?
things. Yeah. There are a few things. For one, when you're on theater, you tell a full, complete story. So once upon a time, there was a guy, and then he did this, and then he did that. And as you're saying that, you can feel the audience. So you start to learn, oh, this is where audience responds, not there. And then this is how and you learn to manipulate and play with and stress and then leave in hiatus. And you know what I mean? That's the one side. You learn things like just walking on. The second you walk on, you're in performance. So before you say your first line, these are things that you learn and you get to feed. So that's the one side. The second thing is the absolute discipline of theater. So in theater, you don't have a second take. You can't go, oh, I'm sorry, can we do that again? None of that. You fix it as we go. And as such, you'll find that theater actors generally don't blah, blah, because they're so trained and get it right the first time, every time, that they know about breath control, they know about line learning, they know about enunciation, they know about breath control, voice control, characterization, all of those things. So you don't have 17 takes to get it right. You only have that one take. That's it. Wow. So that's really the big difference, or one of the big learnings you get from theater. Okay. There are a few others, but yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about any movies that stood out for you, like movies and characters that play their part in the movie. Like, for example, you can go back to the movie Taxi with Robert De Niro. I mean, were there any movies that stood up where a character popped out? You're like, damn, if I could just play something as this.
There's some amazing stuff happening even now. Jeez.
Let's go back first. Let's go back.
Okay, so back. Jeez, all the greats. You know, there's nothing De Niro has ever done that's average. Not one thing. His stuff stands out. Your Pacinos. You know, give me a name. Give me a name. Their stuff stands out. They are the geniuses of my time. The John Garnies. These are guys who do amazing work every single time. As you get closer, the generation before me, certainly in this country, people I looked up to. Okay, let's start way back when. I looked up to Somizi's dad. Somizi's dad, Ndaba Mhlongo, was a phenomenal actor, a phenomenal artist. And then there's Mapunu, there is, and as you get closer, you're looking at people like Bo Sillo, Sillo Make Kanube, your Vusi Gunenes, who were the generation just before mine. And then we've got some really, really talented guys even now. And the same goes for ladies, Jeepers. We have a wealth of amazing, amazing actresses. Again, oddly enough, Somizi's mom. And the like.
It comes from a bloodline, hey?
So yeah. No, we come from a really, really strong line of. Oh, he comes from a strong line of talent. There was no way he could be anything but ridiculously talented. Somizi comes from exceptional stock. Anyway, so yes, and then internationally the same. Nowadays, the guys you're running with, Cheapers.
The big one, yeah. Someone talked about Denzel Washington in Training Day. Denzel, I mean,
Denzel in anything. Denzel
yes,
in fact, now it's an interesting thing about Training Day.
Yeah.
Denzel, the year before Training Day, he did, oh gosh, what was the one where he was a boxer?
Yes.
And then he was arrested wrongfully?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you remember that
one? He was nominated, but he lost.
That's the one he should have won for.
Yeah.
For Hurricane? He
yes.
should have gotten an Oscar, and everyone knew it. We were like, we know.
It's almost like they gave him the Oscar the following year to make up.
Correct. Yeah. And what it did is it started to offset for a few years, because that year, who was it that was meant to get it? And he got it the following year as well. I think it was Russell Crowe, or maybe Russell Crowe got it for Gladiator. No, Russell Crowe should have gotten it for Gladiator, and he got it, I think, for Beautiful Mind.
Yeah, for Beautiful Mind. Yes, he did.
And so, it basically created that offset all over the place. But I mean, these guys.
But here's the issue, Hlomla. It's like, when it comes to nominations, and I'm sure all the creative people, like actors and musicians, feel the same way. How do you compare two actors? It's like if everyone is sharing and doing their best, and they're not doing it to compete, they're doing it to express the part, but then you're going to be compared. You're going to go to this award show where you're compared to. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, I usually say it's an unfortunate part of the industry, for me. It's between crazy. Awards and fame, those are the two unfortunate parts of what we do. In that it's necessary for the industry, not so much for the actor. But for the industry, it's important because it creates that sense of competition and evolution and all that sort of stuff. But as you say, how do you choose between Russell Crowe and Denzel?
I would honor them. If I had my way, I would honor them all. I'd say we had 50 movies released this year, and these are the actors. For lead roles, we are acknowledging these actors for these parts and give them their own.
Now that would make sense. That would absolutely make sense. But there's also things. My friend Ngaba is on. What's up, Ngaba?
Ngaba.
Anyway, so there's that, and there's also there's the popularity side of things, which is fantastic. So things like your People's Awards, where people phone in and vote for their best performance, and that's fantastic. But I'm not convinced that that's necessarily the best performance. In fact, I think that's a misnomer, that there is a best performance.
Yeah. According to what? Because your perceptions are all different.
Correct. If the audience knew what was on the page and how the actor elevated what was on the page in combination with the director and many of the other things, then I would say maybe. But to just go, that one was brilliant. Well, how do you know? For all you know, that guy didn't know his lines. He was improvising the entire thing, and you just happened to enjoy it. Versus somebody who was dealing with a really, really difficult script, and they still managed to elevate it to something amazing. I don't know if you ever saw Devil Wears Prada.
Yes, Meryl Streep.
Yeah, Meryl Streep. So if you read that script, it's there. Okay. It's a normal Disney girl comes to big city.
Yeah.
But then you see what's on the page versus what Meryl Streep did with it.
Yeah.
Sheepers. It's chalk
She
and
also
cheese.
she kills any part. True.
Again, yes, yes.
Murders
Just,
any part.
but she's also very fortunate in that she's exceptionally good at choosing her scripts. She's got an amazing, and she comes. It's interesting about Meryl Streep. She comes from an age, so that generation had just had amazing, amazing performers. So you had Glenn Close, Meryl Streep. Oh gosh, I can see their faces, the other actors. Even your Sharon Stone comes from that generation. So there was just one generation where every single leading lady was amazing, just stupendously amazing.
Yeah.
And she stands above that. So, being the best of the best is like being Michael Jordan, I guess.
It's crazy.
And that's where she sits at. Yeah. There's
You
some
know what?
interesting questions.
We're talking about the awards and stuff, and you know what is funny? When
Mm.
you're an artist, whether you're an actor or a musician, I was just thinking about music for a second and how, in order to be nominated, let's say for a SAMA Awards or a Grammy or whatever, you gotta pay to submit to
Now
be.
that's disrespectful.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
So
I
you've
was
got to pay to submit.
pay
And this
to
is why
submit
I'm saying,
to be judged. Meanwhile, somebody can
correct.
listen to your stuff and go, "This is the baddest stuff," and then they wonder, so how come this person was not nominated? No, because that person had no money to pay for his to be nominated.
Correct. Correct. And that's an unfortunate part of the industry. This is what I was talking about, where I'm saying awards are an unfortunate part of the industry because yeah, they're dealing with popularity, but they're also dealing with who paid to be nominated. You're like,
Yeah.
wait, this
So
is a
who had the
money
money
making.
to pay for the nomination?
Correct. Correct. So it's one of those things. I always laugh. Um, in 32 years of being in the industry,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever won an award in South Africa for performance anyway.
Yes.
I've got a bunch of awards I've won internationally, but never in South Africa. And so one, as an actor now, goes, well, then do I base my confidence, my performances, my career on how many awards I win? Certainly locally. Do I change what I'm doing so that then I can get the popular vote, or do I stick with what I know to be true for whatever character I'm doing, and know that that's just not something that's going to happen anytime soon. And yeah, these are things that people have to face all the time. You know.
So that's why in essence you have to have a thick skin and really just focus on the art, focus on
Oh
what
yeah.
you
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
you know.
This is where I say to remember I was talking about it last week, where I was saying if you're in this game for fame, you might get it, but it'll cost you. It'll cost you a chunk of your soul, one, and two, it won't last.
Okay, so first of all, I
Okay.
wanted to ask you, what are you currently working on? What can people look forward to seeing you in? What you've been up to?
Oh gosh. Okay. So well, the river is coming back. We are working on it right now.
There
And
you
then
go.
there's something else. Mm, there's something else I'm really, really excited about.
Yeah.
And it's something with a director that, oh gosh, for nearly 15 years we've been trying to work together, and opportunity just hasn't availed itself. And I am really, really looking forward to working with him. He's arguably one of the best directors in the country, and has held that spot for the longest time. I can't tell you more because then, yeah. So
Yes.
there's a big series that we're shooting, that we're about to start, and mm, excitement is large. And I also think it might be the first time that you see something like this locally made, certainly at this kind of scale. Yeah. So I hope I've whet your appetite.
Love. So we also know, someone's asking, okay, someone's saying that you are the best actor. The River is coming back, so that's going to happen.
The River is coming back. It is coming back in a few weeks. I think
the river will
maybe
flow.
The river will flow.
Yeah. Just wanted to tell people that are watching now, we're on this every Monday, and of course, sometimes if maybe we both on set, whatever, we'll change the time, but we'll make sure that once a week we'll get together and we'll discuss this. We want to get to the core of this acting stuff because we love it so much. For any advice for any upcoming actors, you know what I'm saying?
Act. You got? Take every opportunity to get your performance, get your acting fitness right up there, get into theater groups in your local area. People always talk about, hey, I'm looking for an agent. Act again, get into a theater group, local theater group. If there is none, put one together, but get your acting fitness right up there. And your time will come.
Nice. Okay, my brother, for me, Hlomla, from me, Kaz and Hlomla, we will see you next week, right here on Reel to Reel. This is beautiful so far, and it's nice because, okay, no problem, we're done. I'll see you next week on Instagram. It's Kaz over here, and then on YouTube, Kaz Abrams, One Up Productions. I'll edit the show, put it up on YouTube. I'll share a 5-minute clip on this page, so follow. And every week I'm interviewing someone different every day. So thank you for your support. Have a lovely day further.
If there was a problem, I'll turn it into greatness. If there's an anthem, let's sing of greatness.